Hi, and welcome to this prenatal yoga video for sciatic pain. Now, sciatic pain is caused by the irritation of the sciatic nerve that runs from each side of the lower back through the buttocks and down the legs. The main symptom is shooting pain that can be either in the lower back region, but it can also be felt in the buttocks, and it can radiate either down one or both legs. Then it's important to note that such irritation can be caused by different things, so always check in with your doctor first. And this session is mainly meant for pregnancy related sciatic pain. So if you have any previous or specific conditions such as a hernia, for example, you will need different instructions, and this will not be the video for you. Now, as always, before I give some more explanation, I want you to get comfortable. So let's get settled into our first posture. And today we're going to start with a wild-legged child pose, which is wonderful to relieve sciatic pain and will also help us to relax the body while opening the lower back. So we're going to start with getting the knees nice and wide so we have space for the belly, and then from there you can walk down, maybe stay on your forearms, or like me, get your forehead resting onto the earth. And then there are a few ways to modify. So if your knees are bothering you, you can place a bolster behind the buttocks. And then if there's not enough space for the belly, you can also place a pillow or a bolster either on your forehead or underneath your torso. And then finally, if this is really not comfortable for you, you can also try your puppy pose by keeping your hips elevated above the knees, and then you can rest on your forearms and again maybe get your head down onto the earth. So try to find yourself a comfortable position so you get that nice stretch and release through the lower back. And then from there we're gonna start to connect with our breath. So as always, breathing deeply in through the nose and then trying to get the breath all the way down to the bottom of the lungs, letting the belly rise with the inhale and release with the exhale. And then also try to send your breath into your lower back, the buttocks, maybe the back of the legs, any area where you might feel pain. So we're trying to release any pain with the breath, inhaling all the way down into the belly, any area of pain, and then exhale, breathing out the pain, releasing any tension or worry you might find. And we're going to do a few more rounds of this releasing, healing breath. I'm going to give a bit of extra explanation on why we have this annoying pain during pregnancy. So your pregnancy sciatica is mainly caused by weight gain and the changes in posture due to the growing belly. And it will most likely occur in your third trimester, as at that point you really start to notice the growing belly, but it can also present itself earlier sometimes. Now, most of the time it's the growing uterus or sometimes even your baby directly who pressures this sciatic nerve into the lower back. But sometimes it's also indirectly. So due to weight gain, fluid retention, or instability in the region of the hips and the pelvis, this will tighten all these muscles and create a bit of pressure and strain here. And then these muscles in return will pinch your sciatic nerve. So as with lower back pain, it's not only important to work and release the insertion of the sciatic nerve into your lower back, but also the surrounding areas of the hips and especially the buttocks area. So this is what we're going to do with today's sequence. For now, come to a nice last deep breath here, breathing all the way down into the belly towards baby. Long exhale out. And then from there, we're going to gently walk our hands up, coming out of the position. And then coming onto all fours, placing the hands under the shoulders, the knee hip distance stacked under the hips. Finding your neutral spine as you inhale, and then with the exhale, we're going to start rounding the spine, coming into cat stretch. So inhale, neutral spine, looking up, and then exhale, creating space in between the shoulder blades, rounding the back. Inhale, neutral spine, exhale, press actively to the arms, engage to the shoulders. And here we're nicely releasing the back, warming up the whole spine. And then with each exhale, you can also try to hug in baby towards you, engaging the deeper core muscles, squeezing your pelvic floor muscles, just to give a bit of extra support through the movement. And then finishing up 2 more rounds. And then we are preparing to come into our downward dog. So spreading the fingers wide, getting the feet nice and wide again to create space for belly, and then lifting the buttocks up and back. And here important to keep a bend in the knee. So you want to really provide traction through the spine, and you can walk one heel after the other into the earth. And just warming up the back of the legs, stretching through the hamstrings, but again, don't go too deep. So if you will over pull the back of the legs, you can only irritate the sciatic nerve a bit more. So that's why keep that bend in your knees. And then if you feel space, you can maybe stretch out the back of the leg. But again, be very careful here. Now I'm coming back with my knees on the earth, taking another moment to bring the buttocks towards the heels, and then coming back up, preparing for our next posture, which is going to be a low lunge. So we're going to start stepping the right foot forward to the outer edge of the mat, and then you can either keep your hands in your hips and then sinking through the hips. So we want to stretch out the back hip flexor and gently the inner thigh. And then if you have space, you can also place your hands on the inside of your right foot to have, again, space for belly and to get a bit of a deeper stretch. And here you can also use 2 blocks for extra support if you can't go as deep. So it's all about finding the point that you can hold for a few deeper breaths. And then here, keeping the length through the spine, the neck is nice and neutral. And then gently coming out, stretching out the front leg. And then we're going to come into the next pose, which is pigeon pose. So there are different options here. If you want to go for full pigeon, you want to walk that right leg in. And then you can decide on the intensity. So the more I'm sliding my chin bone parallel, the more stretch I will get for that outer right hip. And I'm sliding my back leg out so I can sit in between the hips. And then you want to keep your hips level. So if you feel that one buttocks is lifting more, you can also place a bolster underneath that right buttocks to get your hips nice and square. And then again, you can adjust. So I want to go a little bit deeper, so I'm sliding my leg a bit open, and then you can either sit straight or you can come on your forearms. Now, very important here that there's no strain or pain in the knees. If that's the case, you're going to try a different variation. So there's also a seated variation, also called figure 4 stretch. So for this, you want to come to a seated position, stretching out both legs, and then you can fold the right foot on top of the left thigh. And then here you can even step in that left leg and maybe sliding the buttocks a little bit closer to get a deeper stretch. Same stretch in that outer hip. And then there's a third way by simply start to sit on the chair and then again folding that right leg on top of the thigh, keeping the foot flexed, either sitting straight, or if you want to go deeper, you can gently start leaning forward until again you feel a nice stretch into that outer hip. So whatever position you are, make sure you're comfortable here. Well, you can let the posture do its work, which is particularly not only healthy for the relief of the lower back, but also those tight buttocks muscle. And then you can get that nice release all the way down through the hip, through the thigh, where you can feel pain. So taking a few releasing breaths here, breathing into any intensity, releasing through the exhale. Coming to one last deep breath on this side. And then gently coming back out, taking your time, walking your hands flat on the earth, releasing that leg backwards, coming back to all fours position. So we can do the same sequence on the opposite side. So I'm now going to step my left leg forward, a little bit more out, either keeping my hands on my hips, creating space in the lower back, dropping my tailbone down, and then again, fully optional, placing those hands on the inside of the left foot and then going as deep as you feel comfortable on this side, feeling that nice stretch into the back right hip, and some opening on the inner left thigh, and then just using your breath, regulating, releasing any intensity here. Taking one last breath. And then coming out. And then from there, we're going to swivel that left leg into our pigeon pose. And then it's the same thing. So you decide which variation you want to take. I'm going for the full pigeon. So I'm just getting my hips into place and opening my feet a bit more. And this would be my tight side. So you can see I go less deep. My chin is less parallel, but my hips are nice and square. So I don't need a pillow. But if you feel that the hips are uneven, then just place a pillow. If you feel any pain in your knee or any discomfort here, you can just take a variation, maybe the seated pigeon, maybe on a chair. It doesn't matter. The stretch will be the same. in that front hip, so whatever works so you can be comfortable, and then there can be intensity. There's a nice release here around the insertion point of the sciatic nerve in the lower back, but also along the thigh and in that buttocks muscle that can also contribute to sciatic pain. So consciously breathing here. A few more rounds. One more deep breath. And then gently coming out. Slowly coming to all fours and then just doing some hip circles to release any tension we might feel in the hips, circling from left to right. And you want to come to seated to slowly with control lower down on your forearm. So you want to engage your belly muscles here just to protect your lower back. And then again, very slowly laying down, and then you can slide your hands behind your neck, shivering yourself into place. And then from there, you want to come into a hamstring stretch. Now, if you're further along the pregnancy and you're not comfortable laying on your back, you can prop yourself up with pillows so your head and heart are a bit higher up. And then we're gonna lift that right leg all the way up into the sky. Now you can grab the back of your thigh, the back of your calf muscle, whatever is comfortable, or like me, you can just grab a strap and then placing that strap around the ball of the foot and fully optional stretching out that left leg. So I'm gonna keep my knee bent, especially if the hamstring is very tight. And at the same time, I'm sliding my hands down along the strap so the back of the shoulders stay in contact with the earth and I don't put any strain on the shoulders. So you wanna relax your shoulders down into the earth, and then you wanna regulate the intensity. It's most important that you don't want to overstretch the back of the leg because this can hurt your lower back. So better to keep a bend in the knees and then really sense how open the hamstrings are. And then if you feel space after a while, you can always stretch out the leg a little bit more, also keeping that right foot nice and flexed. And then just breathing into the back of the leg. If at any point your leg starts trembling, you know you're already gone too far, so then you can release. So again, once more, be very mindful. This is very releasing for the lower back, for the sciatic pain. But again, if you pull too much, you can make it worse. So just listen to your body, use your breath. And then gently, gently bending that knee so you can release the strap for now. And then you can just do a few circles with that knee to release the hip. Circling towards both sides. And then stepping both feet flat on the mat and changing sides. So here again, you can work with or without the strap, whatever works, and then fully optional, you can stretch out the opposite leg. I'm grabbing my strap again, and again, I will keep a bend in my knees. Just for safety reasons, I will make sure that the back of the shoulders is in contact, and you will see I have a bit more space here. So this is my most flexible leg, so here I can go a little bit deeper. But again, it all depends on you. So no legs are the same, so decide what works on this side and just sense. If you feel strong resistance, go less deep. If there's space, just make sure you're not feeling any strain into the lower back. And then again, as always, we use the breath. We send the breath in the back of the leg. And coming to one last breath on this side. Again, bending that left knee now, releasing the strap. Coming into some hip circles, circling the knee from one side and then towards the other side. It's also nice to massage the lower back, to massage any pain you feel in the buttocks. And then we're ready for our final relaxation, or shavasana. So from here you can just roll over to the left side, grabbing some pillows, making yourself comfortable to lay still for at least 1, but maybe better up to 5-10 minutes if you have time. Making sure you can just relax the body. And here also you can work with your breath, so you can send the breath in every part of your body, working your way from the feet till the crown of the head and just releasing all these muscles. And then if you still find any pain, it's in your lower back or in your buttocks, you can really consciously breathe into this pain and trying to release it with the exhale. So you're going to a deep state of relaxation for the body. You're breathing out any pain. You can relax your mind. Maybe interact with baby. And then I'm going to leave you here. If you want to reread any information about sciatica pain, you can just check out the link below to the corresponding blog article, as well as my other projects. And I hope you feel a bit better by now. Thank you for joining this class. Namaste.